All right, we'll go to, we got proclamations, and we'll start with that. And every council member, I think, has been assigned to one or so. So, all right, we'll start with the Emergency Medical Services Week. Well, it's always good, and it's real good that you see them in situations like this and not in their professional capacities. So you want to celebrate them, and hopefully they're not having to work while they're seeing you at some extent. So I'd like to ask Councilman Guajardo to help us with the proclamation. Huh? Did I say man? Oh, excuse me. Councilperson. Councilperson, excuse me there. I told her, be careful, don't trip. We'll have a medical emergency right here if you twist an ankle coming down the steps over there.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everyone. The Emergency Medical Services, or EMS, provided by the Corpus Christi Fire Department is a vital public service, as we all know. The members of the EMS team are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. EMS has grown to fill a gap by providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventative medicine, follow-up care, and access to telemedicine. EMS teams consist of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, pre-hospital nurses, emergency physicians and nurses, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers. Members of EMS teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their lifestyle or their life-saving skills.
Now, therefore, pursuant to the powers vested in me as the mayor of the city of Corpus Christi, I do hereby proclaim May the 19th through the 25th, 2019 as Emergency Medical Services Week in Corpus Christi, and encourage all citizens to recognize the value and the accomplishments of our emergency medical service providers. So let's give them a hand. And Chief, are you going to be...
Thank you, Mayor. And on behalf of the Fire Department, it's an honor to receive the proclamation from you and the City Council with regards to when it comes to EMS Week. I want to let the public know that out of the 52,000 calls that the Fire Department went on last year, 40,000 of them were medical. And every person you see up here is either a paramedic or an EMT and can deliver top-notch medical care. Also with us today are some of our partners from the hospitals. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Billy Bellew, who is a battalion chief currently in charge of EMS, but shortly will be in another position later on down the road.
Thank you, Chief. So the theme of this year, for this year for EMS Week is Beyond the Call. So responding to calls and performing life-saving skills is just part of the job, as we always say. But the brothers and sisters of EMS in the great city of Corpus Christi go above and beyond the call on and off duty. The true reach of EMS truly goes beyond the call. So take this week to thank the members of the EMS community for not only responding to your calls for help during your worst day, but thank them for also volunteering for humanitarian efforts in the community. Let's give these men and women a round of applause again. Thank you.
These folks get them to the emergency rooms, and Dr. Blow, you come up here, so you can make a connection of when you get off the ambulance, then you're in this guy's hands. So say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I am deeply humbled to be able to come up here before you to stand in front of these wonderful partners that have helped us throughout many decades at Christi Spawn save lives in our community. I have been in all parts of the Northeast and the Midwest, and I can tell you I've worked with some of the finest pre-hospital folks that you can imagine. But everyone standing behind me and everyone who could not be here and is circulating out through our city delivers the highest quality care that I have had the privilege of experiencing, and it is really because of their great work that they do tirelessly and unselfishly that we are able to do what we do at Spawn Hospital as your Level 2 Trauma Center for Corpus Christi. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I don't know that we can bunch up much more than we are here, but we'll get a picture.
Mayor, stand still. Okay, everybody looking this way, eyes open, smile, 1, 2, 3. Hey.
Thank you, guys. You want to say something? Thank you. I'll take it easy. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for everything.
Mayor, thanks a lot for the honor. Ay.
Thank y'all. Good to see you again. Thank you, Doctor. Good to see you. Hey, Chief. What's going on? Good to see you.
And before they take off, we had some other partners besides Spawn Hospital. Our friends from CCMC were also here, and we wanted to make sure that we acknowledge them. And also our instructors at Del Mar. Melissa, thank you very much. But thank you for all. It's a team effort, and we do a good job together. Thank you very much.
Councilman Roy will help me with this one. National Public Works Week. If you're here for National Public Works Week, come on down. All right. Now these folks make your daily life a lot easier. You may not realize it, but they make your daily life a whole lot easier. Now, I'm kind of trying to think of a gentle way to say this, but when you take a shower and you flush at your house and it all goes like it's designed, it's because these people are doing their work. So we want to thank you for that. Councilman Roy, you helped me on this proclamation.
I was going to say without them, we'd be up to our eyeballs in, but anyway. That's right. National Public Works Week. Public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Corpus Christi, Texas. These infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals, who are engineers, managers, and employees of all levels of government and the private sector. They are responsible for building, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. The year 2019 marks the 59th annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association and the Canadian Public Works Association.
Now, therefore, pursuant to the powers vested in me as the mayor of the city of Corpus Christi, I do hereby proclaim May 19 through 25 National Public Works Week in Corpus Christi, and urge all the citizens to join with the representatives of the American Public Works Association, the Public Works Department, in activities and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize a substantial contribution that they have made to our national health, safety, welfare, and quality of life. I'm going to ask Valerie Gray to say a few words. She's the executive director of the Public Works, and I'll probably get in trouble for this, but some of you may or may not know, Valerie came to work for the city of Corpus Christi back when I started back on the council in 83 or 85. She's been with the city a long time, and she has, I don't know whether she's signed the dotted line yet, but submitted her retirement papers. So she's going to be leaving us. I don't know how soon. I'm going to try to put a tether on her and keep her around for the new city manager for at least a little while. I don't know whether I'll be successful. But we just owe her a great debt of gratitude of the leadership that she's done. And it's an encouragement for young city employees. She came just as a new young city employee back in those days and has worked her way up the organizational chart. So she's an inspiration for people getting in at the entry levels, that there are opportunities with the city of Corpus Christi, but she's done a great job. Matter of fact, I think your father was probably the mayor at the time, and that's Luther Jones's daughter, if any of you don't know her back there. So, and I was privileged to serve on that council with Luther. But she's going to be missed. She's done great over the week, over her work here, and we're just glad that we've got an opportunity to say thank you to you and for all of these folks that stand behind you.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that. I don't want to cry. Now is not the time to do that. And besides, I have my meeting with Peter tomorrow, so we need to talk. Right. But as far as why we're here, we're here this week to recognize, as the councilman said, and celebrate the public work professionals, the men and women that go unnoticed on many days doing the work out there in the field. It's not only your water, wastewater, it's your solid waste pickup, it's your streets that are being repaired. It's everyone and a lot of what work at the city of Corpus Christi that protect our transportation, water, wastewater, solid waste system, and other facilities that are essential for the citizens of Corpus Christi's public health, quality of life, safety, and welfare. The theme, I want to talk about the theme on the poster, if you give me a minute. This is the National Public Work theme, and it says, "It starts here." This represents the many facets of our daily life that grow out of the efforts that are put forth by the public work professionals nationwide. The quality of life for the residents of every city, including the city of Corpus Christi, starts with public works, and that is the theme of the poster for this week. So we appreciate that, Mayor.
Well, again, thank you on behalf of the citizens and the council for all the work you do. Thank you.
Y'all have a
Thank you. Thank you for all you do. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all you do. Jerry, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, sir, for all you do. Thank you for all you do. Oh, we're going to have another one for you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for all you do. Thank you. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for all you do. Thank you. A lot of thank you. Oh, Ben is. Oh, he's done.
All right, this one, I got Councilman Molina going to help us on this one, Motorcycle Safety and Awareness Month. Y'all come on down, and when this is over, Mr. Molina is going to give us a demonstration on riding a motorcycle.
So I told my wife I was getting a motorcycle, and that idea went out the window really quick. Happy wife, happy life, fellas. I'm just saying. Today's society is finding more citizens involved in motorcycling on the roads of our country. Unlike other vehicle drivers, motorcyclists are roughly unprotected and therefore more prone to injury or death in a crash. Campaigns have helped inform riders and motorists alike on motorcycle safety issues to reduce motorcycle-related risks, injuries, and most of all, fatalities through a comprehensive approach to motorcycle safety. It is the responsibility of all who put themselves behind the wheel to become aware of motorcyclists, regarding them with the same respect as any other vehicle traveling the highways. It is the responsibility of riders and motorists alike to obey all traffic laws and safety rules. We urge all citizens of our community to become aware of the inherent danger involved in operating a motorcycle, and for riders and motorists alike to give each other the mutual respect they deserve.
Now therefore, pursuant to the powers vested in me as the mayor of the city of Corpus Christi, I do hereby proclaim May 2019 as Motorcycle Safety and Awareness Month in Corpus Christi. Encourage all citizens to do their part to increase safety and awareness in our community. And who's going to be the spokesman here?
That'd be me, sir.
All right, sir. I'll give you that. All right.
Calaveras Colt, Richard Cavieto. I am the Coalition of Clubs chairperson here in Corpus. I want to thank the mayor, city council for having this and the attention given to motorcycle safety and awareness. As mentioned before, we don't have anything other than our skin out there, so consequently, we do appreciate the heightened awareness, try to keep our fatalities down. We see way too many of them, and Corpus has been spiked in Texas this last year for over 300% of motorcycle fatalities. So I'm working with TxDOT. I meet with them quarterly. We talk safety issues, funding, and all of that, and we know the more education we get, the better off we go and fatalities go down. So it hits close to home here. We've had very important people in this town that have gone down on motorcycles and not got back up. And so that made it a little bit of awareness. In our police department, we work with them once a year with the Toys for Tots, and we do things for the community the best we can. And what you see up here is a mixed group of females that ride motorcycles. I am a club member, but I want to just say one thing. When you're out there on the road and you go, well, I don't know anybody. I went to high school here at Carroll. Then I went to the Marine Corps. I served my country. I went to college in San Marcos at Southwest Texas State. I came back. I worked for the Army Depot 36 years. I put in total civil service with DOD. I ride a motorcycle because I enjoy the freedom, the love of the wind in my face, and it's very hard unless you do it to what I'm trying to explain to you. But once again, I'm Richard Cavieto. You know somebody that rides a motorcycle, look for me out there, and once again, thank you very much.
You were doing all right till you got to Southwest Texas. I went to Stephen F. Austin.
Right, 1, 2, 3.
Thank
you for your service.
I got it.
Hand pull us.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next one is a proclamation for Pride Week. Who's coming down for that? Tom Tagliboo. Trouble personification right there. All right. Councilman Hunter's going to help me with this proclamation.
Sir. Thank you. Now come on in, come on all the way down. Good looking group here. Thank you. Champion. Guess I'll stand over here so I'm not blocking anybody. All right. The Mosaic Project of South Texas, a local nonprofit organization created in 2016 following the Orlando Pulse nightclub tragedy, is celebrating its 4th annual Pride celebration from June 3rd to June 9th, 2019. Pride Week is dedicated to honoring the lives lost in the Orlando Pulse nightclub shooting, commemorating the anniversary of the United States Supreme Court's marriage equality ruling, and honoring past contributions and celebrating the future of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, intersex, asexual community. June 28, 2019 marks the 50th anniversary of one of the most important events in the LGBTQIA community, the 1969 riots at the Stonewall Inn in the Greenwich Village, New York, which galvanized LGBTQIA. There's a lot of initials in there. I'm sorry. I'm getting it. It's kind of like a tongue twister. New York, which galvanized LGBTQIA individuals to create a new wave of the LGBTQIA rights organizations. Pride Corpus Christi is an annual festival focused on commemorating, educating, and celebrating LGBTQIA equality and human rights. Pride is an event that celebrates love, diversity, and beauty within Corpus Christi, the coastal bend, the state, the nation, and the world.
Okay, now therefore pursuant powers vested in me as the mayor of the city of Corpus Christi, I do hereby proclaim June 3rd through 9, 2019 as Pride Week in Corpus Christi, and encourage citizens to join celebrating the dignity, strength, passion, dedications, diversity, and commitment of the LGBTQIA plus community. Signed on May the 21st. So are you the spokesman? Who's the spokesperson? All right.
Hi. Oh, thank you very much. We'd like to thank our sponsors who have made this week possible, which includes High Res Media Group, Pomegranate Studios, Coast Bend Wellness Foundation, Herman & Herman, Keller Williams, Smoothie King, and Apollo Towing. And specifically the city of Corpus Christi, which has been incredible. So the whole purpose of this is to demonstrate how wonderful our city is, how open and affirming, and all are welcomed. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Every time.
I'm sure you do.
We know how much.
How much?
Open your eyes. Okay.
Thank you.
This one's all you. The rest of them are all
Okay, good luck to you.
Tom, how you doing?
Good to see you, Tom.
You need a tie, Tom. One of your good ties. Yeah.
You have the next one? Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, the next one, we've got a couple more. The 154th anniversary of Juneteenth celebration in the spirit of Emancipation Days. Come on down. Be the spokeslady when I get this in. All right. Juneteenth is the oldest nationally celebrated commemoration of the ending of slavery in the United States. The day of the last slaves in America were freed was said to be June 19, 1865, when General Gordon Granger rode into Galveston, Texas, and issued General Order Number 3, 2.5 years after President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. Just think if they'd have had email, how quickly it would have happened. 2.5 years to get from wherever they were down to Galveston. That's a long time. Juneteenth serves as a reminder of the sacrifices our ancestors made for freedom and an opportunity to educate our children on the history of our nation and its people. The year 2019 marks the 154th year anniversary of Juneteenth in American history, with Juneteenth serving symbolically and in reality as a reference point from which to appreciate the progress and contributions made by African Americans to this society. Now therefore, pursuant to the powers vested in me as the Mayor of Corpus Christi, I do hereby proclaim June 9th through 19th, 2019 as the 154th anniversary of Juneteenth celebration, the spirit of Emancipation Days in Corpus Christi, and encourage all the citizens to recognize Juneteenth, also known as Freedom Day or Emancipation Day, as a time to celebrate African American freedom. Let us all encourage self-development and respect for all people as we promote and cultivate our knowledge and appreciation of African American heritage, history, and culture. And are you going to be the spokeslady for this group?
Yes,
All right.
Thank you very much.
There's your proclamation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We thank the city of Corpus Christi very much for this acknowledgement. And as he stated, the travel from Philadelphia all the way down to Galveston, Texas, 2.5 years to free the slaves that had been originally taken from the continent of Africa by the white persons in the East who had been refugees and had come over on the Mayflower to be free from their countries and things that were happening to them. And these men, though, went to the continent of Africa to hide out and invade villages and snatch Africans, bring them on the ships up to New England to be slaves in America for the persons who had gotten tired of all the work they had to do as settlers who had come over on the Mayflower and others. This, of course, spread throughout the country and has been a major undergirding for this country in many ways. Corpus Christi, Texas is the only city in the United States that celebrates the 10 days. As a little girl growing up, and others, I grew up in Houston, the 19th of June was the one day that Africans and African Americans and their descendants would gather in the Emancipation parks and the places in Houston and have their barbecues outside in their neighborhoods and celebrate the 19th of June, or shortly called Juneteenth, all over the country. So about 15 or more years ago here in Corpus, several persons sat together and decided, this is such a fantastic thing. We should certainly take more than one day to celebrate this and keep it before the country and the world. And so this idea was developed that let's celebrate 10 days in Corpus Christi. At first it was 5 days, and then it spread a few years later, from the 9th to the 19th. Our theme, which is continuous, as you see on the T-shirts held here, from slavery to freedom to education to achievement. This has been the journey of African Americans in this country, and we pause to celebrate it. We invite all of you to join us. These 15 days that we celebrate here, we'll have things in the back that states the things that happened at each of those days, And our major event is a banquet, which is on the 17th this year. And we always celebrate each year persons in different labor categories. Last year it was groomers, that's beauticians and barbers and cosmetologists, et cetera, people who groom us. And our national honoree was Eunice Dudley from Indianapolis, who developed, she and her family, the Dudley Company, beauty company. This year we are celebrating pastors from all over the country. And our national person is Fred Gray, who was the pastor and lawyer for Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks. And our national honoree, he will be here to be for our banquet. We will give you all the information about it. And so I simply ask you to all join us, please, in celebrating this in whatever way you can. And if you have children, have them come to the poster contest and make a poster about what freedom really means and win a prize. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, let's stand and get a picture.
One, two.
Is pronounced Amici, and she, you know, so there's and this is a gift you're giving her. And she's going to take it to that mayor.
Okay. How many of you have heard or ever sung the song Amazing Grace? Have you ever heard that song? You need to go on the internet and read the history of that song and the history of the author. It was born out of slavery and a life that was changed as a result of a man's acceptance of salvation. And it's pretty obvious in the first line, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Look it up at its history. Amazing Grace. Everybody in the world knows that song, but it was born as a result of a changed life of a man that was involved in the slave trade at one point in his life, and it's made a difference all over the world. So lives can be changed for the better. Drue Jones. She is going to be, well, she always has been, but this is a special Goodwill ambassador. For those of you that don't know, I mentioned a little earlier, this is Luther Jones's daughter. And Luther served this community for many, many years. Wonderful fella. And he really changed the way mayors do business in Corpus Christi. For the good, but we all fuss about it. He loved people. He'd retired from being the commander out at the Army Depot. He got to be mayor, so everybody that had anything going on in Corpus Christi, from a breakfast before sunrise to something after dark, and you invited Luther, he'd show up, even after he was elected. It wasn't just a campaign deal, he'd show up. And people in Corpus Christi began to believe that the mayor ought to show up at every event that happens in Corpus Christi. And for those of us that weren't retired, we just can't go to all the events. And so what we've done, we've recruited our council teams to go to some of these events that we get invitations to that we just can't go to. It's not that we don't want to be at the events, but we just can't get there. But Luther ruined it for everybody else. He showed up at everything, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
And he had a pocket full of seagulls, little stick-em stickers. And if you got away with one being stuck on your lapel, you were lucky. If you stayed and talked with him very long, you had 3 or 4, because he'd find a lapel over here, and then he'd find a spot over here. And then before long, it got to be a joke. The kids used to have them all over his face, and he loved to go to schools. That's why they named the school after him. He loved kids. Anyway, I can go on about Luther. He's a great guy. But this is his daughter. She's just as good, or almost. So anyway, City of Corpus Christi, be it hereby known to all that Drue Jones on this day has been made a Goodwill ambassador for her representation of Corpus Christi in Yokosuka, Japan, and in recognition thereof has been presented with this testimonial certificate and shall forever hold and enjoy a place of high esteem in the minds and hearts of our people. In testimony, therefore, I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the seal of the city of Corpus Christi on May 21st, 2019. Now, she is fixing to go, I think, over to see the mayor of Yokosuka, and his name is Mayor Kamichi. She's been practicing her pronunciation, is that right? Yes. All right. Well, we want to wish you the best, and here's a little gift if you'll take that with us as your Goodwill ambassador responsibilities and present that on your trip over there. And here's your official. Show this to the
Get me in the door?
show that to the customs agent. I don't know that it'll get you back in the country, but it'll get you out of the country. All right. Well, let's give her a hand for representing Corpus Christi well, and let's get a picture up here.
Also wanted to say I gave you all some pictures because I wanted you to see how past mayors and past councils have supported the Sister City movement. And then, of course, I had to include a picture of Daddy. That was taken in 1970, and this program started in 1962, our relationship with Yokosuka in 1962. And Gil, I saw you speaking Japanese a minute ago. So.
Well, that's there.
Yes, I see that.
Okay. If these folks would join me up here, these are the folks that contribute their time and effort to make our community run a little smoother and give us their advice and input on different things of interest in the community that we have boards and commissions on. So if you would come up to be sworn in to that board or commission. Juliana Carlisle, Animal Care Advisory Committee. Deborah Shores, Animal Care Advisory Committee. Christine R. Harrison, the Corpus Christi Commission on Children and Youth. Clarissa Morrow, Corpus Christi Commission on Youth, Children and Youth. Lynn Mutz, I think I said that, Mutz, Mayor's Fitness Council. George W. Woods, Mayor's Fitness Council. Jonathan Amen, Transportation Advisory Committee. Brandon Herridge, Transportation Advisory Committee. Jeffrey Pollock, Transportation Advisory Committee. And Mr. Bicycle. Did you ride your bicycle over here today, Jeff? Huh? You did? Good. And Judy Telge, Transportation Advisory Committee. All right, come on down. Jeff was with the MPO and now is over at the port, right? Good for you. All right. Well, if you'll raise your right hand, I will say aye, and then I'll stop, and you state your name, and then I'll read a phrase, and you repeat after me, and we'll get you sworn in so you can start your public service here in one of our boards and commissions. And we appreciate very much your willingness to do this. I, your name, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of a member of the board to which I have been appointed and upon which I am about to enter, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state and of this city, so help me God. Well, thank you very much for your willingness to serve, and say hello to the council that appointed you, and then we'll go over here and get you signed up and everything. Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.